Oh, that's time. Like
That's
we're rolling.
We're rolling, yeah.
Oh, dude,
it's kind of like
dude.
all right, clap. Like here we go. What's up, y'all? This is Break the Norm podcast with your host, Mr. Drive,
An absolute beard.
where we are going to get you out of your norm.
That's right, man. What's the deal? It's been a while. Back in action, new setup, new items. We'll talk about this later in the podcast. Don't worry, but we got some awesome news for the viewers, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
Dude, what's going on? Anything new, exciting, fun? A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Some distractions. Had some distractions.
Yeah.
But
Man, you know.
other than that, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, man. Just working though, always.
Yeah. You know, I've noticed that, man. You know, we eat a lot, or I eat a lot, man. I'm talking about how much money do you spend? Do you think weekly, monthly on food, like your food bill, your grocery bill, right?
I mean, I'd say probably, well, give or take 150, 175 a week, just for me.
Yeah. No, that's about right. I mean,
Yeah.
I get asked, kind of just off topic, because everyone's like, well, you know, I want to eat right. You know, I want to get in shape. Summertime's here. People are going on trips. People want to look good. And they're like, yeah, but you know, eating right is expensive. I'm like, you're damn right it is. I mean, you go to a fast food restaurant, you get a $1 cheeseburger, Coke, and fries for $3, you know, but a decent meal is going to cost you anywhere from 10 to 15. So I'm like, you know, you go to get the groceries, get your rice, get your fish, chicken, whatever, steak, but you're spending, I mean, you may not eat as much as we do, right? And depending on how big your family is and who you're supporting, but I mean, it's a lot, dude. $150.
Here's my thing, man, is I'm going to invest in my health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I would say monthly what I spend on my body,
Yeah.
at least $1,500 a month.
Well, yeah. But I
When
mean,
you
that's
start including like supplements,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Checkups, the visit, hell, even dental. I mean, that's, you know, that's part of your health. You know what I mean? You got to get your teeth clean. You got to be on top of all that.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not monthly, but yeah, it's still incorporated and take care
it's
of
more
yourself.
3 months. Yeah, every 3 months. Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, that's true. I mean, when people think about like what they invest in themselves, I mean, it's a pretty high dollar amount,
Dude.
you know. But
What's how much are you willing to invest in your health? Because your health should be the number one thing you invest in before anything else.
Yeah.
And that's yourself.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
no, I know. We touched on this subject before, you know, as far as health and wealth, but it just was coming up in my mind because, you know, I spend a lot. I feel like I'm at the grocery store. I mean, because I like fresh food, and I'll prep, you know, Sundays to get me through Wednesday, and then that night to get me through Saturday. But when you're talking about how much people, you know, some of the feedback is like, what do y'all guys eat? How much do y'all eat? You know, how much does that cost? I'm like, it's going to cost a pretty penny. But I mean, again, think about putting bad fuel in your body or bad fuel in the car. It's not going to run efficiently. So, you know, you skimp on, you know, some protein. You might buy the bulk that, you know, isn't that great. But hey, if you gotta do it, man. I remember in college I was eating tuna fish and red potatoes. So I mean, you gotta do with what your income allows, you know, and that's the thing. But when you're actually on point in your diet, man, you're always gonna run into hurdles, obstacles, distractions. Maybe you got like a birthday party coming up, maybe you got an event, a social, and you get distracted, man. You get distracted with throwing off your game plan. Maybe you're like, oh, I'm gonna try to, you know, just have 1 or 2 drinks, then it turns into 10. You know, I mean, things like that happen. Sometimes you can't control it, but you know, when you're distracted in other aspects of your life, work, family, like those things hit, and the first thing that happens is people's diet go to shit because they're not hungry. They're emotionally drained. They're mentally, you know, exhausted. So like the last thing they want to do is eat right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, think about it. I mean,
it's just easier to eat the other way.
Yeah, it's almost, you know, you indulge. It's like, well, you know, I can't eat, so they're eating a huge meal, which is probably not the best, you know, and then they just feel fatigue and you just run your body down.
Big time.
But I mean, I don't know, man. We've talked about some distractions. Some things hit heavier than others, but you know, we've all run through it. I've run through it. You know, last week just dealing with a bunch of, you know, personal stuff. It's hard. I mean, I'll admit it's hard to stay focused. And put it this way, I mean, we always preach positivity, right? Yeah. So sometimes I'll look to you as a friend of mine, or look to someone else to inspiration. But man, it's hard sometimes. Sometimes you just want to like dig yourself a little hole. Sometimes you just don't want to. You just want to shut down, whatever it takes to regroup. But you have to understand, like, some things are just completely out of your control. And when that happens, man, you just sort of sit there and you're like going in a whirlwind, like, how the hell am I going to get out of this? I use the example as like a tornado. Like, I'm in the middle of it and you see all this shit happening around you and you're like, damn, like, I don't even know where to start. Yeah. You know what I mean? And there's some things that you can't get out of, but some things you can. So.
Yeah, I mean, distractions too, man, they just kind of, and especially the ones that you have no control over.
Yeah.
Those, like, for instance, man, I went through something with my dad, being in the hospital, mm-hmm. and it was pretty serious too. But at the same time, you do have to realize that, like, no matter what, some things that are out of your control, man, you still got to keep going though.
Right.
When other people would think that, like, man, they would understand that you would pull back. You know what I mean? They would be understanding, but it's like, man, in order to keep growing, man, even the things that distract you or things that like happen that could be like severe, to family or friends or anything like that, man, you're still gonna have to eventually, at one point, you're gonna have to pick yourself up and keep going. You're gonna be broken down for a little bit, but then mentally you have to like get strong and push through those things, Yeah. And that was difficult for me with my dad being in the hospital. It was like, man, those first few days, but I started seeing progression with them, so it made me be able to relax and get back on it, which helps. But at the end of the day, man, even on that day, you still have to go, man, I still got to keep things in order.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because other people, depend on you, whatever it is, your situation is.
Yeah. And I think people, it's like, I can remember the movie Pumping Iron, Arnold, like when his dad passed, he was like, his mom called, right? Everyone who's watched it, seen the scene. And his mom saying, "Are you going to come to the funeral?" I was like, "No, I'm in a competition. I can't. Like, what can I do? He's gone already."
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be heartless. I'm not saying he's heartless, but again, my point is, life doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't. When you're having such a I would say traumatic, emotional distraction that hits close to home, you don't know how to react because, I mean, again, you can prepare for it, but once it hits, it's like, man, the unknown, right?
Yeah.
And then having that say, well, man, okay, I'm not going to go to the gym today. Well, you can't just say, screw your family and, I'm going to hit the gym. I got to get my meals in. You can take a little break, but how far do you let it go? How far do you let it unwind to where you say, man, I got to look out for me because, again, what can I physically do besides support? You try to understand maybe like the situation your dad went through, and I'm glad he's doing better and thought he's recovering. But I mean, it's a tough thing when it hits that close to home. Deep inside, you're like, man, I don't want to do anything. Like everything, like work stops, friendships stop, and then what happens is that people always want to say like, well, dude, I'll anything you need, I'll be there, or I'll be here if you need me, and it's kind of like, I don't know. I think when people say that, it's like they think it's a courtesy, like that's what they should say. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't mean it, but I'm like, dude, there's nothing you can do right now. Like, I don't, when you're in that mindset, people are like, and maybe it's just for me, maybe I'm speaking from the heart here, is that I don't really want that help. You know what I mean? I don't want, because.
Yeah, I think everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody handles it different. Me though, like, me getting through it with my father here recently, like something like that, on that end at least of things, it was good to have people around.
Yeah.
Because it kept my mind off of it, so much. And I think those are any distractions, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, you had distractions today.
Yeah.
Just getting here to the podcast. Like, it was a lot of like, dang, man, a lot of obstacles you had to go through. You know what I mean? We had set a time, but then it was like, man, all these distractions happen, and that's just part of life. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you still showed up.
Yeah,
because it's like, you know what I mean? And just those distractions on the way to work. Let's say you got to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning and you're going and you don't know, there could be a wreck and you got to get around it. But getting mad about it, that, oh, now I'm going to be late to work or whatever, stressing out about it, man, it's not going to do you any good. You just have to get around those distractions.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's hard because, I mean, you look at it, and you're gonna get to work regardless. Okay, yeah, okay, the meeting might start without you. Maybe your boss is gonna yell at you. Maybe it's like third strike, man. You know, sometimes you have to look back and say, okay, is it me or is it things that I can't control? Is it that I can wake up 15 minutes earlier so I won't rush? You know, maybe it's I take a different route. Who knows? But at the same time, like you said, if a wreck happens, man, you just hope and pray everything's okay. Like there's things that you can control. Like, you know, people get mad, you know, I do it too. When someone cuts me off, I'm like, maybe they're just having a bad day. You know, let them go. I don't care, you know, let them go, blow off some steam. But yeah, you're right. Some people need others around them. And I think it helps generate that positive vibe and circle. But sometimes it's
well, because they're not going through, they might be going through a good time in
Yeah.
life. So they share that positivity
Yeah.
with you. So it's like, oh, okay, well, it's not so bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if it was that bad, this person would be in a bad mood too, and this person would be in a bad mood. Everybody around you would be in a bad mood.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's, you know, it's, and you can correct me. I mean, it's exhausting to retell and relive those emotional distractions. So it's like, you almost want to gather people that you care about and love the most and be like, hey guys, this is what I'm feeling. This is what's going on. Because, you know, you tell me and then you tell someone else and it's like, I don't know, I'm saying the same story and it just gets
over and
repetitive.
over. Yeah.
But again, I mean,
Gotta get on that group chat.
just make a Facebook announcement or, you know, post it and just be like,
Yeah,
okay.
make a Facebook page just about my distraction today.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
hey guys, this big thing that's going on right now, I created a Facebook page, so I need all y'all to join this.
I mean, sometimes, man, you know, people put their issues out there, but you know, but you don't. Even then, I mean, you know, you posted that because you want people to know, look, it's not anything personal. I'm just going through some stuff,
Yeah,
right?
exactly, yeah.
And the ones that are closest to you know how to reach out to you, know when to give you some space. And that's the thing. It could be like in relationships too. I mean, you know, it's like distractions come in all shapes and forms. So, I mean, your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, your kids, it's like, man, dude, like it's just, I'm coming. There's those weeks and days where everything that could possibly happen happens. And we've all had it. And it's like,
Oh, for sure.
you know, when people are like, you know, I say, what's wrong? Like, oh, everything. I'm like, really? Everything? They're like, oh yeah. I'm like, okay, well, what happened? And they'll just start listing stuff that happens. And I'm like, man, dude, like, you know, you got through it though.
Yeah.
You're here and now you can reflect on it. And so, yeah, it might have been a shitty day. It might not have gone the way you wanted. But in the end of the day, like you're here, you're breathing, man. You know, you have another opportunity to make the next day, tomorrow, better.
And I think that's the number one thing when it comes to getting a distraction, that you have to like look at the brighter side of things.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the first thing I do. Like you have to see exactly what's happening right now, and that's, hey, this distraction is happening. Don't look at it as whatever it could be, whatever it is that's distracting you. All it really is a distraction, and if you realize that before it gets to you, like really upsets you, then you'll know that like, man, it ain't really that bad. It's just a distraction. Like, but it's all right. I'm gonna go around it.
Yeah.
It's just, or it's trying to distract you.
Yeah.
Don't let it distract you.
There's always a positive outcome out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
And you got to look for it. You got to see it, you know. And if it happens repetitively, then it's like, well, you know, maybe I need to do something about it. But again, I think every situation is looked at, you know, with all your failures, all your catapults you into success. And so when you talk about distraction, and I almost make it like a distraction derailment. I mean, you're thrown off course, right? I mean, you are. I'm a creature of habit. I like routine, you know. And so like when my routine's messed up, it's like, man, dude, okay, I'm kind of thrown off over here. But you know, the following thing is just making sure that you're still getting things done. You're still getting things accomplished, right? Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, life, work, kids, marriage, I mean, friends are always going to have something to do with your routine, your daily routine. And so, you know, when it happens to be a family member or a good friend, and you know, the same week I think your dad is in the hospital, I lost a good friend from high school, like unexpectedly, you know, and so it kind of shocked me. It kind of shocked a lot of people. And
man, that's tough.
You know what do you do when but
because you're young, it's not like so when you're in that age group and then like in somebody like in the same high school, man, it's crazy because you're like, whoa, like. Man, I went to high school with him. Like we went to we're the same grade and everything.
Yeah.
It mentally messes with you, and depending on how close you were to him too.
Yeah, and then you know, but that's the thing. It's you can start questioning why, you know, or what happened, or you start to see, the sad parts, but I just chose to like relive those good moments, the laughs that we had, put those on the forefront of my head, because that's the way I cope with it, know. But again, it's like, okay, you might take your time to like dwell, mourn, but at the same time, again, I gotta pick myself back up.
Yeah.
Like if I stay, salting down and just sulking, then I'm like, man, I'm just, you get drowned. It's like quicksand, and you're gonna sink. So it's good to have people that understand you, that, know that, hey, maybe something's not right, like something's kind of off, maybe I give them space, maybe I try to push a little bit more. But, when we talk about distractions, like those are the things we talk about, uncontrollable factors. Again, in life, it's like, how do I deal with it? Your eating gets fucked up. Your workouts become shorter or non-existent. You start getting depressed. You fall into this hole, man. And it's like, we're telling people, dude, you gotta just get off your lazy ass and do it, man. But it's like, everyone's gonna tell you, man, Chad, Mr. Drive, it's hard because I did X, Y, and Z. And you're like, yeah, dude, I've been there. I know. What we're saying, and what I'm saying is, take your time, reflect, but don't let it eat away at you so much that it takes away from your accomplishments. Because that person right there that is sitting, telling you like, hey, don't be sulking around for me. Like, worry about yourself.
See, and I'm guilty of being distracted and like, letting things get to me too much. You know what I mean? But I learned from it. I was like, man, dude, that really doesn't get me anywhere when I just get so down about anything. If I get down about anything, it's like, man, it just brings it all down. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're gonna have those, man. It's just part of it. Like it's part of life. It's like the distractions are just left and right.
Yeah.
I have bad ADD, so I'm just like always. I can get off topic real quick and just be distracted by just myself for being distracted.
Dude, something shiny over there.
Yeah, it's like wow, that looks cool. I was horrible, man. Like in school.
Really?
Oh man!
You're horrible at school.
It's sarcastic. No, but like it's like it's like, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to it. It's like even in school, just with the teacher, man, they would start talking, and I would just be totally like off into over here.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and really, being distracted is not a bad thing, because it's like, especially when you have ADD and like you kind of always like been that type of person where you just kind of veer off and space out. But a lot of that is a lot of people that are like real creative too.
Yeah.
Because you just kind of go off over here into Wonderland and you just start thinking and creating or whatever. But so don't take distraction as necessarily a bad thing neither.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because distractions could be like, well, it seems like I'm distracted because I'm not really listening to you, because I'm actually thinking into this over here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It could. Well, those
those
conversations. I mean, a lot of our conversations leads to great topics and content. So I mean, we get we start talking about something in common, and then it leads to one thing leads to another, and you're like, man, we should talk about that, or like let's address this or let's address that. So I mean, it's definitely not a bad thing. And sometimes, I mean, it's fate. Something leads you in another path. Something, higher being, God, whatever your beliefs are, it says like, this isn't the way you should go. This is the way I want you to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to actually accept that, because in our minds we have a plan. It's like, okay, I want to get from here to there. And you might zigzag through. You might like have some hurdles. You might just have a stop sign and say, let's rethink which direction we're going to go. And those are those big time distractions where you're like, man, like but you don't know until you try it.
Yeah.
And you go. And so again, like you said, I don't want to, distractions are not necessarily failures. It's just how you react to them, how you react to everything, with the notion of, I'm still going to try to do what I got to do, set my heart out on, whether it's their business, whether it's still, your personal goals, whether it's relationships, you still got to work on everything, I think it was like, Seth Feroce on his podcast, I listen to him a lot too. And he was just talking about competitions, and he's like, whether you fucking win or lose, you still got to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I thought that like it just resonated with me, because I'm like, not just a competition, but like anything that you do, whether it's good or bad, guess what? Celebrate if you win. Don't say sorry for yourself if you don't, but get up and get your ass to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to do that. You have to have that mentality, because no one's in there like gonna feel sorry for yourself all the time. And it's like, we know those people that are like always, man, I can't catch a break. Life is just hard. Blah blah blah. Like I'm like, bro, we all have done that. We've all have been there.
And we still do it a little bit.
Yeah, it's never gonna stop.
Still like, oh fuck, I can't believe this fucking happened.
It's never gonna stop. Man.
But then you're like, well, it's just another like little roadblock that's trying to block you from what you're really wanting to do in life. So
yeah,
it's just part of it.
It is, and you either
it's rough for everybody.
Yeah. Sometimes you see it. Sometimes you got to go. You got to duck sideways. You got to duck down. You got to maybe jump over. I mean, sometimes you just don't know, but you got to push past. You got to.
Yeah, and some roadblocks are going to be a lot, harder to get through.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Just depending on their situation.
But most of the time, it's us keeping ourselves from that. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to let go. I'm not ready to push past. I'm like, well, okay. I mean, after a few days, maybe a week, it's when is it time? And I think that's where I think I need those friends. Is like, dude, it's time. It's enough, dude. Like someone, and that's we talked about it before. Having someone that to call you out, like, bro, you're done, man. Like, quit being sad. Let's go, man. Let's get this shit going. Yep. Sometimes you need that push because otherwise you're like, man, I don't know. Like, how am I gonna regain my confidence? Or, man, I gotta get back on my meals again. And oh man, I lost strength in my workouts. Man, that shit will come back, dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? You gotta put one foot in front of the other. The next right thing to do, so fucking do it, and then do the next right fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, just keep doing the next right thing, and it'll lead you. And it sounds simple because it is simple. I mean, but if your mental blockage is that roadblock or that distraction, you're never going to see past the hurdle. All you see is horizon. You're like, man, I'm never going to get there. Yeah. You are, but you got to start walking. Yeah. Exactly. You might run, you might crawl, but you got to keep moving. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what it comes down to, man. I don't know. Man, it fires me up.
I mean, I like it. It's just like, and that's, really, it's like, this isn't a long topic either anyways, because it's kind of like, guys, at the bottom line is, it's like a distraction. You have to see it and realize it, and then go around it, man, or go through it, whatever. Yeah. Because it's going to continue. It's always going to happen. So it's like, get used to it,
I think, with distractions, when it's family distractions, like you said, you think about, our parents raising us, giving us the best that they knew, and now as we age, it's like we almost want to do the same for them, right? We want to take care of them, be there for them. And that takes a toll too, man, to be at this age, and maybe I'm just learning that, to, take some of those responsibilities over. And some parents are just stubborn, man. They're just like, nope, don't need your money, don't need your help, don't want anything. They're just like old school, and that's fine. But like, just even knowing that you want to, considering it, that says a lot, man. And I think that's where I think it hits the biggest distraction when it comes to family. Because, dude, I mean, Texas, man, we're family bound, man. It's just like, that's the most important. So sometimes you just, you shrug it off. And I know people out there is like, well, rest in peace. This person's passed, or it can't do much for them. I mean, it almost seems like they're so cold, but people deal with it differently. I don't deal with death very well at all. I'm just not one of those people that it's like,
you don't show a lot of emotion?
No, I don't. Which people are like, dude, they might think I'm trying to be like all tough and manly. I'm like, dude, the people that know me, I don't know if they've ever seen me, cry. Not like I haven't done it.
Some people just like, they don't show their emotions as much. They show it in different
ways.
Yeah, because I know me, like, I don't show my emotions in like a lot of things, and I probably should.
You got to get in touch with your.
but like when it comes to family and stuff like that, like and all that, like there's definitely some things I'll get emotional about. Yeah. But like, I think everybody just shows their emotion in different ways. It's weird. Like,
and it's not a right or wrong way. It's just how you deal with it. You know. But like your point earlier is that we're just letting this out because we've both been through similar things. The severity. On one end, a good friend is taken away. Your dad's still here, thank goodness, But at the end of the day, it's like, man, we get thrown off too, But no one really wants to talk about those things. Like, man, I'm not feeling it today, Like today, just getting here, I'm like, man,
what a struggle.
I mean, half of my mind was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna reschedule. I'm gonna call them. I'm not feeling it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm like, you know what? No, I made a commitment. I'm gonna do it. You know what? I'm glad I did, just because it's helping me. But at the same time, it's sharing. It's understanding that, dude, you're not, whoever's listening, whoever's viewing, man, you're not alone. So again, we're talking deep things that are rooted within us. But I mean, that can reflect in any amount of distractions in your life, you know, and that we all go through it. And you just have to reach out to those people that might even, you think don't even have issues or problems. Like, man, dude, what kind of distractions you have that you can't overcome? You know, it's not always about, you know, material things. It's about time, man. You know, it's about time and things that you can't even do anything. Like, you can't buy more time, you know, you can't buy that. So it's like, put your value in yourself too. Like we always preach, but put the value in people that are around you that know who you are and what you're about, you know, because to me, those are people you would invest in. Just like we would invest in our bodies, I want to invest in those people too, you know? So, but yeah. Anyways, guys, we definitely want to thank you for watching. Before we sign off, we're going to
I want to thank you guys real quick too for all the prayers you gave my dad.
Yeah, absolutely, cool. Man. And again, glad he's on the high road to recovery,
man.
Lot. Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to do a giveaway. And how this is going to work is you need to do a couple things. So you're watching YouTube, listening, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, comment on the video. I don't care what you comment. It could be emoji, it can be awesome job, whatever it is. Just comment on it.
What do we got? Some hats.
And then we're gonna do a Drive mystery box giveaway. So it could be some, what is that?
Some panties. You know what I mean?
Could be some underwear for the ladies. Well, I mean, hey,
I like those.
Could be some shirts, could be some tanks, could be a hat. So it's probably it's about $100.
Yeah,
$100 worth of stuff. So remember, guys and gals, like the YouTube video, subscribe, and give us a comment. Just could be feedback, could be anything, could be emoji. We'll pick a winner next week. We'll do like a video highlighting that, and then we'll send that out to you. So stay tuned for some more content. We're back, we're rolling. Whatever distractions come in your life, man, just stay focused. You'll get past it. With that being said, stay blessed.
Stay driven.
And always break the norm.